Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for the opportunity to talk about Kok's educational work, specific focus on educational materials and integration into training programs. While I believe that most of you are familiar with the fact that Kok does have a wide range of educational resources that are freely available, I would like to take this opportunity to talk about two specific resources that are used most often. But before we continue with that, I would like to take an opportunity to first talk about how responsible dog ownership and rabies control are partnered, married into one cohesive thought. We're all familiar with the fact that rabies control relies on dog vaccination. But it could be argued that without responsible dog ownership, one would not be able to control rabies. On the aspect of dog vaccination, we are familiar with the concept of herd immunity, the premise whereby if we vaccinate enough dogs, we are able to eliminate the disease. But without responsible dog ownership, it is nearly impossible to reach the dog populations and in order to vaccinate them. Furthermore, we can talk about the role that responsible dog ownership plays pertaining directly to rabies control.
If you do not have responsible dog ownership, you do not get dogs brought to the vaccination campaigns. You get dogs that suffer from poor primary health care, and you have dogs that do not have access to the 5 freedoms. So you need responsible dog ownership to be successful in rabies control. But who are the dog owners? And Guillaume alluded to this last night brilliantly. In our experience, time and time again, what we see is if you have a vaccination campaign, these are most often the people that are there, young children. It's either they are the ones bringing dogs to these vaccination campaigns, or they are exceptionally interested in seeing what is going on. They are curious. And we have found that this is the ideal opportunity to effect change in the people we're going to have the longest impact. Adults are quite often not interested in hearing about a different approach or a new way. But in children, seeing is believing, and what you tell them, it is ingrained in them, and they tend to go home and they keep speaking. But if you're going to target children, you need a very specific resource, and that is what is one of the biggest tools we have developed, which is known as the Want a Friend, Be a Friend booklet. And this is a booklet that has been designed towards children. It is a booklet that teaches in a fun and interactive manner. It is coloring in, it is spot the difference, it's sticker pages. But at the end of the day, this booklet focuses on responsible pet ownership in a very easy way by anthropomorphizing an animal. If you teach a child how to interact with a dog as if it is a brother or a sister, the lesson or the message comes clear. The booklet talks about animal health care and taking care of animals, how to prevent bites, how to assess animal behavior. When do you approach a dog? When do you stay away from a dog? And then rabies prevention in general. And this is all done in a fun and interactive manner. And we have a few printed copies of the booklet here on the table on the outside. So if we want to say, well, how do we measure the impact we've had with these booklets? It's not that easy. So I could tell you that we have the booklet available in English and in 9 other languages. I could tell you that these booklets have been used in South Africa, Zimbabwe, Namibia, Sierra Leone, Brazil, Cambodia, Laos, Egypt, Ethiopia, Tanzania, the Philippines. So this message is clearly a universal message. What we are teaching children is a universal message that makes sense no matter where you are in the world. From our side, we have distributed more than 15,000 printed copies of these booklets. That's excluding the copies printed by people who have downloaded the free digital copy. One province in South Africa has printed 6,000 copies on their own. So these booklets are free. They can be downloaded and printed and used. Probably the most important way personally is, how do we measure this impact? By the sheer number of kids we have seen walking away with a booklet. The sheer number of kids who have learned at least one lesson about responsible dog ownership and has taken that away with them. We can also look a little bit further and we can go, well, schools. And for us, the simplest way to use these resources is to have one person during a vaccination campaign who's not taking the time to vaccinate dogs, but who's taking the time to walk around and talking to the community while they wait for the dog to be vaccinated, who has booklets that are readily available to hand out when they are needed. We do also have a second tool, which is the Kok Education platform. And this is our education media for adults and young teens. And the Kok Education platform is an online education website that is freely available. There's no cost to enroll, there's no cost to take any of these courses. All of the coursework can be downloaded and studied offline. It's all been made to be very easy to access with limited internet access. There's a final assessment that has to be done online, and when you pass, there's a certificate of completion. And a certificate of completion is probably one of the biggest drawing factors for these educational courses. And we have 4 courses currently available. We have the foundational course that I'll talk about now. It's called the Rabies Educator Certificate. And then we have 3 profession-specific courses that I'll go into detail about: the Animal Handling and Vaccination Certificate, Rabies Healthcare Certificate, and the Community Coordinator. And for 3 of these courses, responsible dog ownership and humane animal treatment and handling still form a core component. So whether it's the Rabies Educator, animal handling, it's always a strong component of responsible pet ownership and humane handling. So the first course, the foundational course, the Rabies Educator Certificate, and it is a course that has been designed to teach any person that has absolutely no knowledge about rabies everything that they need to know about what is rabies, how do you prevent it, how is it transmitted, how do you take care of animals, and how do you communicate this knowledge to the community. And to date, we have more than 6,000 graduates that have completed and passed this course. It's available in English, French, and Spanish, and 6,000 is the metric that we can measure, but as Professor Nell mentioned this morning, if each one of those people spoke to only 10 people about rabies in 1 year, how many people have heard this message? I'm pretty sure you speak to more than 10 people a year about rabies yourself, so if that's 100 people in a year. And these are agents of change. This is the difference. If we look at the graph on the side, there's clear peaks as well at certain time points. And that's because we have collaborations with the faculty at the University of Pretoria that have incorporated this course and the next one as part of their curriculum for all of their vet students. Which means every year there's 130 to 150 new vets entering the workforce that have information and knowledge about rabies prevention and animal handling and vaccination. Which does lead me to the next course, which is our Animal Handling and Vaccination Certificate. It is about how do you vaccinate and handle animals in such a way that the animal has a positive learning experience and can be vaccinated subsequently. So it not only focuses on how do you administer vaccine, it focuses on how do you interact with a dog owner. How do you convert an uninterested owner into an interested owner? How do you vaccinate dogs under various circumstances? To date, more than 1,000 graduates across the world in the Animal Handling and Vaccination Certificate. It's available in English and French. And once again, it's part of the curriculum for the vet students in South Africa. The third course is the Community Coordinator for Rabies Certificate. And this is basically a course that's been designed for a rabies educator that wants to become more involved in their community, to become a focal point in their community. And it's been designed in such a way that it doesn't interfere with the professionals or the skilled expertise in the community, but it supplements what has been done. So how can the average person in the community assist with bite incidents or assist with the implementation of vaccination campaigns? Currently, this course is available in English and French with more than 400 graduates, 400 community educators working within their own communities. The last course, which I'll briefly mention, is the Rabies Healthcare Certificate. It's a course designed specifically for human healthcare professionals. It has been designed in collaboration with the World Health Organization, and it is an educational course that teaches human doctors and nurses about the latest WHO guidelines on human rabies prophylaxis. It's just been launched January this year. It's a long time in development, and we've already seen global implementation. But even with this, the fact is, it is very difficult to measure the impact of education. We have various stories of these people helping their communities, and that is what matters. So yes, we can educate a person. It's not about what metric can you measure. It is about what difference are they making at the community level, which is where the difference is. And that is what we like to see, is these agents of change being sent out into the world. And they are the people in the communities doing the talking, doing the education. So from my side, thank you so much for the opportunity. We would like to invite you to actually enroll for these courses, see what they're like. We do have information flyers outside as well, and I'd be happy to answer any questions. Thank you so much.